What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first episode of the Berserker podcast. I am your host, Brandon, aka Heath Nation 2465, and I'm joined by a really ignorant man of the hour, Andy Jones.
What's up, niggas?
It's Big fucking Mook in the house.
Big Mook.
Alright. But basically, for those of you who don't know, this is basically our first podcast. We just come here, we talk about random shit, what's ever on our minds, whether it be in our personal lives or whatnot. And that's basically going to be the epicenter of today's video, because Andy here, I see that you have like a big issue with YouTube right now. If you want to kind of give me some cliff notes, because you were texting me on Messenger like crazy when I was out with my dad.
Oh yeah, I got a big problem with YouTube.
Let's fucking hear it. Crack out that fucking Hennessy. I got my Heineken with me.
Oh yeah. I just want to say that, like, I'm sick and tired of YouTube and the way things have changed on the platform. You feel me? Like, I'm sick of these bigger channels making it harder for smaller channels to gain subscribers and viewers.
Yeah.
And it's hard for channels like mine and yours to grow on the platform. I mean, we spend tirelessly hours, editing and posting content, and we barely get views and subscribers. And I feel like, this is my honest opinion, but I feel like the reason why for this is because a lot of viewers are so focused on watching bigger YouTubers that I feel like a lot of them are brainwashed and don't even pay smaller channels any attention.
And a lot of them aren't even that entertaining. Many of these big YouTubers you see are like, who the fuck are these people? Like, how do they get famous? You know?
Yeah. And that's my issue. That's what I have an issue with on YouTube. Everybody pay attention to these big YouTubers who have, let me remind you, multi-million-dollar mansions and fast cars, etc. And our channels barely gain any attention, and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, like, there are channels out there, like some of your gaming channels, that have legitimately, like, earned their way to the top, by being entertaining, by being impactful, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are these, like, big YouTubers that nobody has a fucking clue about. They got big because of some deal they made with, like, some major brand, like, makeup company or something along those lines. Like, you don't even know who they are, yet somehow they're being shoved down your throat by being promoted at these really useless events like VidCon and whatnot,
Right.
Those are the YouTubers that people should be going after.
Yeah, I agree.
And, and it's like I was telling you over Messenger, too. Like that recent coronavirus video that YouTube did, where they had all these YouTubers with, like, a huge amount of subscriber counts, but basically barely any recognition, telling us that we need to stay home. It's like, you are sitting there with 1 million subscribers in your goddamn mansion, and you're sitting there telling us that we need to stay home. It's like, if they wanted to make a more impactful video like that, Andy, they should have gotten people that were actually victims of this virus. That would be impactful, That would basically be saying something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like they should have picked random people instead of picking these big-ass, multi-million-dollar YouTubers that's telling us to sit our asses at home.
When in reality, they're the ones sitting at home getting the five-digit paycheck,
Right. And let me remind you, some of these YouTubers is getting paid like over 20 grand.
Oh, of course.
Every video.
It depends on the deal, basically.
Yeah.
Like, if you're promoting like a gaming company and whatnot, like, some of those guys hit 5 digits. Some of them even hit like 6 digits. But then you got these, I can't necessarily say they're irrelevant YouTubers because they're numbers. You know,
Right.
they're unrecognizable. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a
Yeah.
difference between someone that's irrelevant and someone that's unrecognizable.
Right.
Because you could have like 10 million subscribers, and I could go up to you on the street. Like, I could go to a random person on the street and ask them who that person is, and they'll be like, I don't know who the hell that is, you know? It's
Right.
just how it works. And
Right.
those people are the ones that are getting these 7-digit deals and whatnot. It's like, how are you slipping under the fucking radar, whereas opposed to people like me and you who are basically working our asses off, having to pull all-nighters sometimes to post some
Right.
movies and some, gaming content.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having to spend time away from friends and family to do it.
Right. Like I said last time, the last video I just posted with the first podcast, I spent 3 hours editing that whole damn video. Just for YouTube to take it off the first time, but they ended up putting it back on there.
Yeah, it's a really rich, like back in the days of YouTube, back when I joined in 2009, really long ass time, you could make anything you wanted, really, and you would still
Yeah,
get
you could.
a good, you would, even the least likely videos would still pop about like 100, maybe even 1,000 views.
Right. Yeah, I remember that time. Before YouTube came out with these strict ass guidelines and shit.
And not only, it's not necessarily the guidelines, it's the algorithms too that are really screwing over people.
Yeah,
It just gets weird after a while.
it does. It gets really weird.
Because now, like, there's videos where you could get like, now there's a law in place where you have to basically state whether or not your video is suitable for children. I'm like, have you even seen my videos or my movies? Like, does this look
Right.
like family-friendly content to you?
Right. Every time I come across that, I always say no on the thing. Like I don't
The
even.
the COPA law?
Yeah.
It's like, I understand why it needs to be put in place, because you got these YouTubers who are making like these clickbait videos of like Mickey Mouse or whatnot, and it's some
Yeah.
woman that's getting penetrated in the ass by a dude in a Mickey Mouse costume. Like, that's exactly why that law was put into place,
Yeah. It is a lot of clickbait videos out here. I'm not gonna lie.
It's some of them, it's just not only that, but there are some channels that re-upload that shit because it's already been compromised by YouTube. It's
Right.
it's scary shit.
It is.
I remember when that stuff, like these kids channels, like these controversial kids channels popped up, right? And you might call me weird on this, but you'll see what I mean. I looked up like kid puts adult in jail cell, right? Right now, I've legitimately done this. I'm not ashamed to admit I've done it.
Right.
And they would have one video up, like the particular video I'm looking at, and then there would be 7 other channels with that same video, the same thumbnail as the original. Like, it's scary shit,
Yeah.
It's
And then
just
another thing, a lot of people, they do be re-uploading people's videos.
yeah, that's the problem I have with a lot of these reaction channels. They'll sit there and they'll basically say that they're reacting to a video and not do anything, and you basically just freebooted someone's hard work in a sense.
Right.
And that's another problem I have with these compilation channels. And you know what? I'm gonna drop names. Fuck it. I got a half a bottle of Heineken right here. Screw it. I'm dropping names. People like CTB Gaming, Plasma Storm, Trevor Gene Valentine, who basically take huge chunks off people's videos, off Minilad, Vanos, or whatever. They basically spoil it in this compilation, and then they turn around and say, we don't own this, we're not making any money off of it, but in reality, it's got ads in it,
Wow.
I'll give you the best example, Andy. I'll give you the best example.
Okay.
Do you know who Fitz is?
Not really.
All right, he's in a lot of shit right now because he's a part of some love bullshit with Call Me Carson. But
Okay.
there was a guy that had uploaded a video because one of the things that Fitz would like to do, he would play with Swagger Souls and whatnot, and he would fuck up his mic a lot just to like troll people.
Oh.
So someone did a compilation video of like his best like auto-tune moments, and the reason I'm pointing it out is because at the beginning of the video it says that this video is not monetized. Dead center, Andy, I kid you not, there's an ad.
I'm not surprised.
And of course, I go into the comments section, and there's this full-blown debate right now. And people are saying that Fitz himself monetized the video for himself. People are saying that this guy who uploaded the compilation basically monetized it. And then I had to go in the comment section. I was like, whether he monetized it or not, put that aside. See it for what it is. Because the fact that you're talking about money off other people's shit just further proves that this video should not have been uploaded in the first place. You know?
Right.
It's just, I feel like YouTube's basically, they're just out of touch, you know?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the auto-tune, the person that used the auto-tune, are they artists or are they a YouTuber?
They're just a YouTuber that just, they manipulate their mic on like Skype or whatnot.
Oh, okay. I don't know why people use fucking auto-tune anyway. Like, they T-Pain and they fucking voice.
Well, they do it for like entertainment or whatnot. Like, you ever heard of Best in Class?
No.
Nah, he's like he does this thing where he'll go into like random like Fortnite or Call of Duty lobbies and pretend that his mom's like beating him up. He does like a mom voice and everything. It's the funniest fucking thing in the world. He'd be like, "I'm gonna kick your ass if you don't do your homework," and he would simulate his mom beating the hell out of him by smacking his own computer desk.
Wow.
And he'd be like, "I'm sorry, Mom! I'm sorry! Stop!" it's I'll have to send you away. It's the funniest damn thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, send me that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what else is going on in YouTube before I end this segment?
You know what? Nothing at the moment. Well, actually, no. You know what? There's been some things going on, but it's mainly been about this whole 5G stuff.
The 5G?
Which,
yeah, you
yeah.
talked about that on your Real Talk podcast, you know?
Yeah, we talked about that last time. I don't really want to bring that up again.
In case
So
you
we
guys are
move
wondering,
on.
Andy talked about on his podcast, the Real Talk podcast, which is the pilot to this episode right here. I'll put the link in the description for you guys to listen, but he basically talked about 5G towers and the whole conspiracy behind them. Basically, that's, I don't know. This whole landscape of YouTube has just changed dramatically, you know?
Yeah.
And it's bad enough that, you know, we got these YouTubers that people, like, they have big subscribers. It also makes me wonder how they got those subscribers. If the companies helped them or they themselves kind of, like, botted themselves. It's really weird shit.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of YouTubers that actually botted their subscribers. Like, most of them subscribers ain't even real people.
I am really suspicious of WWE because have you noticed how their content is, like, declining, but how they're gaining subscribers? You know?
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like
that.
because their subscriber counts don't really necessarily match their retention rate, as opposed to someone like PewDiePie or Jacksepticeye or Markiplier or whatnot. Like,
yeah,
they have like 58 million subscribers, but then they only average about 100,000 views per week per video.
Yeah.
Like, it
well,
just...
there's some videos where they made like at least a million views. It's like
that's mostly for their
it was-
pay-per-views, though.
that, but it was, I think it was one with video with Undertaker, I think.
Oh, when he was like basically saying to AJ Styles that he'll make him famous, you know, the American Badass.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, you would expect like a major corporation like that to basically get that much more viewers, like 5 million, maybe even 10 million.
Yeah.
It's just really weird. I feel like if it comes to the point where if WWE gets busted for botting, they could actually lose a bunch of sponsors, because technically that is basically lying to investors when you fabricate numbers like that.
Mhm.
It could be a really big downturn.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the list today, you know, I do want to talk about something that has been on my channel but then got deleted. Something that just came to an end, like right before I got on here.
Okay.
And that is the NASCAR Heat Cup Series. Many of you guys that have been on my YouTube channel know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that don't know, allow me to explain a little bit. So back last year, I had this league compiled together. It was like me and 15 other buddies for NASCAR Heat 4. We called it the DOTT League. For those of you that don't know what it stands for, DOTT stands for Demons of the Track. That's what it stands for. So,
Okay.
we did the league. You know, I had to miss out a couple races. By the time we were done with that, one of the guys decided to create the NASCAR Heat Cup Series based on the success of DOTT, right? And
Right.
I'm scheduled to be basically the commentator for this league because of my channel and how everything's laid out and whatnot. Basically, I would air the full race, and if anyone who wanted to record would upload to their respective channels or to the NASCAR Heat Series channel, right?
Right.
So, of course, we did the Busch Clash, which is going to basically be the qualifying event for Daytona. Then
Okay.
an incident occurred where I had to back out, basically, and a bunch of other people did. And
Yeah.
just today, the league finally disbanded, you know?
Oh wow.
Yeah. And it basically, it all boiled down to one thing in particular, and it was just drama, you know?
It's always drama. That's why I say save the drama for your mama.
Never thought I quite put it that way before.
For
God
real.
damn it. Anyway, but you know, if we were doing this league for money, that'd be one thing, but we're all just doing it for the sake of doing it. And I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, when people, what happens is when you do stuff like that and you get into a routine, what happens is that tensions run so high to the point where you start shit, you know?
Right. Right.
Because at that point, you're not treating it as something you love, you're treating it as, like, you know, a chore that you would do around the house every week.
Right.
And I feel like that's the reason why this league folded the way it did, was because of exactly that, you know? Just
Right.
people didn't want to be committed, you know, and there were some incidents. I can't really talk about the incidents because I'm not that type of person that's going to sit there and throw names out like fucking bullets in a revolver, like boom, 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 boom. You know, I'm just not like that. But
Right.
it got to the point where the rules were more strict, basically just like NASCAR is today. And knowing how people are, you know, you just want to race for the sake of racing. You don't want to race and have to go about a fucking rule like you're Johnny Sauter at Talladega or whatnot, you know? It's just like, it's just horse shit, you know? Just go out there and fucking race. And
Yep.
just because I left the league, it's like, it's not like I hate anybody either. I just talked to 2 people before getting on this podcast right now, you know? And I still talk to people to this day. I just talked to one yesterday because he had a drama with another YouTuber that's trying to ruin his fucking life right now. I might talk about it on a future podcast, but
Is it a big YouTuber?
He's one of those douchebags that basically go after. He's like a douchebag small YouTuber that just sits there and just hates the world around him, so he takes it out on everybody else that's more popular than him. It's
so, like, how many subscribers does he have?
He's got like 1,000, I think. He's a fucking dickhead.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously, Andy, he is a real jackass. Like, this is the type of guy where if you like talk shit about him, he'll make a fake report on the FBI saying that you're going to like shoot the president or whatnot. Like he's fucking insane. It's like, and like I said, I'm gonna probably talk about him later, but at the same time, it's just ridiculous. But this whole NASCAR league, it started off really good. We promoted the shit out of it. We had a Facebook page. We had trailers made. You saw some of that. I know for a fact.
Yeah.
Like, we hyped it up really good. But the problem was commitment, you know? When you schedule a league to go the same length as the actual NASCAR guys with no incentive, to the point where you're like making things more strict and whatnot, and it kind of kills it after a while. You get like,
yeah, I do. There's
this point in like sports, like where you'll watch like football, for example. You'll watch football, and then the Super Bowl comes around, and you're like, I'm fucking tired of football, because you've seen it too fucking much, you know? And that was the problem that, you know, and gaming is the same way, and I feel like that's what the problem with this NASCAR league was, you know? Oversaturation, I think, is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But that's basically what I wanted to talk about on that topic. Okay, so third thing I have listed on this. Let's talk about Instagram, Andy.
Oh, shit.
More importantly, these Instagram influencers. Have you seen any of these guys lately? I haven't.
Oh, I seen some shit on Instagram, Mario.
Oh, God. Tell me about it.
I wanna get on these nappy-headed hoes.
Oh, God. What are you going to do to them? What are you going to do?
Nah, I just want to say, like, I'll be seeing a lot of fake bitches with fake asses and titties. And I know this is inappropriate for, like, if kids was watching, but I don't really give no fuck.
And like I said, no one ever said this was a kids channel. Just, I'm clearing that out. I may have made a Fortnite movie, but for the love of God, there was some cussing in that movie, alright? And there's probably cussing in your local ninja videos. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, nah, I do want to talk about these Instagram models.
These, not necessarily models, we call them influencers. Whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Whatever you want to fucking call them, I don't give a shit. But, yeah, I want to talk about them. Because every time I get on Instagram, that's all I see. Like, you know when you go on a search thing?
Yeah.
Like, when you search, the first thing that pops up is tons of pictures and videos of Instagram models. Every time I get on Instagram.
Yeah, how old are these fucking women? You know, I feel like that's, like, a topic for debate here. Like, Jesus.
I guarantee you half of them is probably underage.
Yeah, I guarantee you, like, half of these people, they say that they're 18, but they haven't even gotten out of middle school yet, you know? You know, like, there are people that are like that, Andy.
Yeah. It is.
And, like, you know, they live these fucking... H3H3, he made this video basically talking about some of these influencers, right? And... he had this thing where he would show a picture of that. You ever heard of that? What's his name? Trisha Paytas or whatever the fuck that person's name is.
I ain't never heard of him.
Yeah, I'm saying him instead of she. Fuck all of you. But
Oh, he must be a trainee.
yep, it's a tranny. It's a
I
tranny.
should have known. I should have known. I should have fucking known.
But they had this picture of this person. I say that term lightly. All beautiful and all that.
Wow.
And then they put another one where she's just like fucking ugly and all this. But like, that's their life basically, you know? They play this character, but then behind the scenes they're just garbage, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's the same with these influencers. You know, like, you got this dude with a six-pack taking a picture near Niagara Falls. It's like, yeah, real influential. That's the problem I'm having with, you know, people today. They'll take these words of importance and then they'll just make them into something that they're not, you know?
Right.
Like, okay, Andy, let's say you take a picture in front of downtown with your shirt off, right?
Right.
Right, no homo. No homo, just want to say.
No homo, no homo.
But let's say you're taking a shirtless picture in front of downtown and you're trying to show off your muscles, right? I don't consider you influencing anybody, all right? I consider you an entertainer, all right? I don't consider you an influencer. So, even if you had a picture of your daughter in the background, I still wouldn't think much of it. I mean, I love your daughter just as much as the next guy, but like,
Right.
you know, it just means nothing, you know?
Right.
It's just people trying to, what's the word I'm looking for, grandstand themselves. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, what have you seen? Like, what are these Instagram models doing, like the ones that you're seeing, yeah?
Like, they be twerking and then, like, they be on, a lot of, like, for example, like, this rapper named Lil Boosie. You know Lil Boosie, right?
Why does that sound familiar to me?
You probably don't know who he is, but he a rapper. And like he always be live streaming. Like ever since this whole pandemic stuff, he been live streaming, and he been having these females come on his live twerking. And it was this one where they would show their breast, like literally on the live stream.
And this is on Instagram, right?
On Instagram.
God.
Live.
And it makes me wonder, it's like, what are you, as the person that's uploading this, these influencers? This is my message to influencers and anybody that watches them. You call yourself an influencer, right? What the fuck are people gaining by watching your content? You know, you posing or dancing or whatnot. What are you gaining? Like, are you legitimately being influenced by it? Or is it just another form of entertainment and you just don't want to admit it? You know?
It's not just that, but, you know, it's little kids that's watching that stuff. And when they see that stuff, they think that shit is cute. That shit ain't cute.
And then they go out and do it. And then they get in trouble for it, you know?
Yep.
It's just like, my parents never beat me, but if they saw me, like, twerking and doing all this stuff, they'd be putting soap in my mouth. Like, and I guarantee you they would have done it to you, Andy.
Probably, who knows?
To pull out the paddle.
Shit, nah, it ain't gonna be no paddle, it's gonna be that damn belt.
Oh, shit. They have to put holes in it so that way it goes faster.
Yup, pretty much.
Fucking aerodynamics.
Yup, pretty much.
But yeah, and it goes the both ways, but what about the viewer? Like, if I posted a picture of me losing weight, right, and it had like 1,000 likes on it, Andy, how many of those people do you think I would influence just by those 1,000 people?
I don't even know, probably a few.
Probably like 10, maybe even 20. Like, because that's how people work nowadays. So just because you
Yeah,
call
pretty much.
yourself an influencer doesn't necessarily mean you're influencing anybody. You're an entertainer, and I'm gonna call you an entertainer. End of fucking story.
Right.
It's just in like the fact there's this video, and this just shows. It wasn't
Like
a video. Go ahead.
Some of these Instagram models, like, I don't even know if any of them know how to cook or clean, or like they know how to suck mean dick and, and do all kinds of other stuff and put weaves in their head, but they don't know how to cook and clean. Like, I don't get it.
Great analogy. Wow.
I'm being honest.
I know you're being honest, but that's just a great analogy. They can blow a dick, but they can't cook or clean.
Like, they know how to top niggas like gas. Like, they know how to do all kinds of stuff, but they don't know how to cook and clean.
But they don't know how to take care of themselves. That's the problem,
They want to depend on men to do stuff for them.
And
See, a real woman won't depend on nobody to do shit for her. She'll go out and get the bag herself.
I'm
just saying.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I will say this. I saw a commercial. This is basically related to what we're talking about. I saw a commercial years ago. It was one of the commercials that still like vividly burned into my freaking head. It was one of those. You ever heard of those cliques of like those girls that like run rough shot over a school or whatnot? They all dress like, dress like badasses, basically, right? And they act like badasses. They act like the queens of the school, basically.
Yeah.
So there was this commercial for a help forum, basically people suffering from depression or just hardships in general, of this one of these hard-ass fucking girls walking around making herself look like a badass queen and whatnot in front of everybody.
Right.
Everyone's like staring at her and all this shit. And then they cut to her going into the bathroom, and then she just starts crying right there. She looks in the mirror and just starts crying.
Damn.
And but as hard as that sounds, Andy, that's basically the best representation of a lot of these influencers and a lot of these like models and whatnot. It's like they play this facade where they look like a badass. They make themselves look like goddesses, and then behind the scenes, like, they're going through like depression and shit. It's just really unhealthy.
Cause a lot of them miserable.
Yeah,
they be
like
on social media 24/7. They don't got nothing going on in their life.
Like they don't understand how life works. You can't just get popular overnight. Rome was never built in a day. I feel like that's a lot of the problem that people have. Rome was never built in a day. We have the technology to do it now, but it took time. And it kind of goes back to what we were saying about YouTube. Like, people like us, we've actually had to bust our asses off. Some of us have had to bust our asses off for years to get where we're at,
Yep, pretty much.
And when you're like showing yourself off like that, you're no different than these miserable assholes on these reality TV shows who are doing the same thing,
Right.
It's a sad reality we live in where that's just basically being worshipped.
And I just feel like, why do women always gotta put on makeup? Like, no disrespect to women, but why do y'all gotta put on makeup every fucking time? Like, I don't want to see that shit all the time. I don't judge women off their looks. I'm gonna be real.
It's people that overdo it.
Faithful woman, that's all that matters.
It's people that overdo it.
Clean, etc. Yeah, it is.
Like the Kardashians, like they do.
Don't get me started on them hoes.
Yeah, they do. Like most of your celebrities are.
Hold on, he done got me started on the Kardashians. Let me talk about the Kardashians. Let me talk about them dirty ass bitches. Let me talk about them.
Oh shit!
I'm about to get on them damn piglets. I'm about to get on their ass.
Damn.
I guarantee you, they probably don't even clean their coochie.
I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to know.
Probably not.
But like most of your celebrities are like that. They'll wear so much makeup, and when they get older, it deteriorates them because they're trying to play this person that they're really not. You know.
Right.
And I feel like that's the same thing we're seeing with a lot of these influencers today. It's just, it's the sad reality that that's worshipped, and that's basically become the norm.
And then it's also the female rappers and stuff that's promoting all of the twerking and stuff. Little girls growing up wanting to be like Cardi B and all of these other female rappers. And no disrespect to Cardi B, but yeah, a lot of little girls growing up seeing this stuff and want to be like them.
And they're watching movies like Hustler or Miss Congeniality and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to sit there and be like a woman who uses fingernails to fucking eat her eggs. Like, Jesus. Like, someone at work told me about that, and I was just, a part of me threw up in my mouth just hearing it. It's like, you know, you're supposed to be a normal human being. Eat fucking food like one. Jesus.
Right.
Also, that's another thing. Like, why these women, they get these fucking fingernails, they're trying to look like Freddy Krueger and shit. You know, it's like, why?
Shit, they want to be like Edward Scissorhands.
That's the greatest comparison ever.
Put that out there. I'm gonna put that out there.
Mm-hmm. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get into a fight? You're gonna scratch people like you're Yori Yagami, and you're just fucking scratching people while screaming Japanese shit?
Possibly.
You got like the red head with like the fucking thing. It looks like the Grand Canyon going across your head.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I'm not gonna lie, Yori Yagami is a great character, but still.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Uh-huh. So I guess that's the end of that topic. Alright. So that was it for episode 1 of the Berserker podcast. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more in the future, make sure you subscribe with notifications on. I will put a link to my channel as well as... Actually, I don't have to put a link to my channel because you're already on it, you jackass. But, but I will put a link to Andy Jones's YouTube channel as well as his social media and my social media in the description, as well as our PSN gamer tags in case you want to reach us. So, this has been the Berserker Podcast, episode 1. Until next time, me and Andy are out.
Actually, it's episode 2.
Well, this is episode 1 of the Berserker Podcast, and then we just did real talk. We did real talk on your channel. But anyway, that's it for this podcast. Until next time, we are outro.
Peace.